Hi everyone. Today we are together with the co-founder and CTO of Shrapnel, Don Norbury. Hi Don, how are you feeling today?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Can you tell about Shrapnel for the people who have never heard about it?
Absolutely. There's a lot to it. I mean, at its core, it's an extraction shooter. So a type of shooter where you go in, we think of as high stakes treasure hunting. So you go in with a loadout and you collect stuff, you go treasure hunting and you try to get it out. And ultimately you can lose the stuff that you bring in. But of course, you can also get a lot of stuff and get out with it. So that's kind of the kind of risk trade-off side of it. And then it's coupled with a rich set of user generated content tools. So these are things that allow you to customize your character or the weapons, think of as cosmetics or vanity, all the way up to being able to create your own maps that other people can play in, other players can play in. And then we built all of that on our Avalanche subnet. So with blockchain backing right from the very beginning. So when we thought about not just the technical framework, but how the economic design works, how we reward people for creating dope content. Everything is incorporated kind of elegantly into one solution for Shrapnel as a game and a platform.
Yeah, when I see your trailer, it was like a movie or something view, and then I surprised, but I thought that it could be possible to make a trailer maybe. But then I skipped the trailer and I look at the gameplay. That was the same. That was the same cinematic view, and it was incredible. And I see that Sharpnel's success will play an essential role in the forming standards and mechanics in the field of blockchain gaming. And it will be the game that people will see the state of art, I think. And I think you are very promising in that field. And
I appreciate that.
also,
Yeah, I mean, like our
uh,
team mostly comes from 20 plus years of making AAA games, so that's our space. Yeah.
yeah. That was the second question, I think. I know a little bit about your team, Mark Long, and you and your huge team, but I want to say this from your mouth again to the audience. What's your background and how did you decide to make a AAA game in blockchain?
For sure. I mean, me personally, I've been making AAA games for almost 20 years now. So I got my start on Madden NFL at EA Tiburon. That's where I started in the industry way a long time ago. And then kind of worked my way across different projects from coast to coast, really here in the US. So I did some time at LucasArts working on Star Wars and Indiana Jones. I was like team member number 6 at on BioShock Infinite at Irrational Games. Did 6 years at Xbox, like most people do in the industry. Sunset Overdrive, Crackdown, Rise, Son of Rome, stuff like that. And then met the founding team that now is Neon, now is working on Shrapnel at HBO, where we were doing like Westworld, Game of Thrones stuff, as well as a bunch of research and development efforts around deep fakes, volumetric video, voice synthesis, that sort of kind of cutting edge entertainment technology, or what we thought was relevant for delivering the cutting edge of entertainment. And that's kind of how the blockchain side of us and Shrapnel came to be, which was we always had this idea of that people love creating stuff. There's types of, not everybody's a deep creator, but most people like at least customizing stuff, and people are used to it now. We've had entire generations of Minecraft and Roblox and these sort of customizable tool sets, declarative tool sets that people are used to, and there's not really like a place for them to age out of. So Fortnite is sort of a thing, but it has a very specific tone to it. It's becoming a little more expanded with the UE5 stuff that came out recently, but it's still kind of a playpen, right? It's like a sandbox of toys. Whereas we knew we wanted to do something a little more adult themed, a little more that was like our corner of the metaverse, so to speak, and then invite people to come into it and create within that space. It's kind of how a lot of us got started in the game industry, is like modding games that were, they were like Neverwinter Nights or Quake or whatever. So we kind of like wanted that to be a thing. And then the blockchain side of it, we saw as the technical enablement of ownership and reward and incentivization for the people that were in the ecosystem. And that's in the same way that like TCP/IP runs the internet, like blockchain runs ownership and transaction validation. People don't care about the underlying technology. You don't care about TCP/IP. I do because I'm a nerd and I have a technical background, but most people don't. Like they care about what they can do with it, the affordances, like the exciting stuff. So we've been very focused on that user story as it applies to Shrapnel, but of course building it responsibly with blockchain underneath it all.
Yeah, you are mainly focusing on quality game and blockchain gaming needs that lead the game on board new people. And you also said that you are focusing on the community like Roblox or Minecraft because these people are getting they're growing and they will be earning money and also they want to create new things. And Shrapnel will enable people to build new skins, customize maps, and with incentive of earning money. You are also supporting content creators that promote your game, as I know. And can you explain these opportunities in detail?
Yeah, like on the content side for sure. Aren't, especially we call it the app store problem. When you have the ability for people to create stuff, the app store problem is the fact that there's 100,000 different apps that come in like every day, right? How do you know what to look for? How do you know what's for you? How do you know what's a quality or a scam or what's going on? So we knew immediately that we had to somehow incentivize good stuff and then also create a service that creates content, that allows content discovery, that promotes content. So when we look at the creator's journey inside Shrapnel, it's not just the creator. There's a community of people who are giving feedback, who are fans of things. There's, end consumers certainly, but there's this entire channel of like promotion and awareness and everything that happens. So we thought about that entire kind of holistic pipeline and how we reward everybody who's part of it. So it's not, of course, it's the creator and the owner of a map, as an example, that get rewarded. But it's also if you are playing a map that you love and you're like, our utility token, the SHRAP token, you can use it to promote things. So you can effectively like infuse it against stuff that you think is good, and the more weight it gets around it, community weight it gets around it, the more it rises and gets in front of people's faces. It'll only take it so far. It has to perform naturally. It has to actually be good content. You can't just like whale it, or gild it up to the top. Like once it's there, the actual performance heuristics, the performance metrics are organic. They're not defined by the promotional effort. The promotional effort's purely discovery. So once it performs, then everybody who's in that chain gets rewarded for basically like making that happen. Of course, the creators and owners of things are, at the top, like they're getting rewarded the most, but everybody who's promoting it is also getting rewarded as things succeed and perform better and better. So that's kind of like how that whole ecosystem works. Ultimately we see the tipping point of Shrapnel, and I think it'll happen very quickly as each of these pieces of content come online, is when the things most people are using, playing, trading are community items, right? Like once that happens, we know like we've created this successful ecosystem where we're coming out with exemplar content once in a while, but it's very quickly tipped over by the like stuff the community's doing that we like would never anticipate.
Yeah. And also in the other end, we have platforms such as Steam and Epic Games, and they are gradually loosening their restrictions on Web3 games. And they
Yeah.
are started to speed up in this area. When Steam and Epic Games are convenient for Web3 games, will we able to see your game on these platforms?
I mean, yeah, we're actually launching, yeah, here's alpha, I guess. We're actually launching on Epic Game Store. We have a very close relationship with Epic. Most of us have made games for at least a decade on Unreal, and as a result, we have strong developer relationship and business relationship with them as well. So we've always planned on like being in Epic's ecosystem. Certainly because part of the tool set that we're releasing is also tied into things like level editing. It makes it way more convenient, like way more doable to do it through Epic's distribution as well. So yeah, we're 100% in that vein. And I would say, we also focus very heavily on frictionless experiences. So we're Web3 degens and we're used to some friction and like having your own keys and everything. But there's a whole classification of player who is not going, you know this person, like if it takes longer than 10 seconds to do anything, they're immediately just going to leave. So we know you have to get people in, you got to shoot each other in the face, you got to like have fun and feel the stickiness immediately, and then you kind of progressively, become aware and appreciate the other things that the game and platform offers. So everything we're doing is based on that in terms of like its familiar account paradigm. We're creating a custodial wallet behind the scenes for you. But if you're a Web3 degen, you can link all of your non-custodial wallets to your account as well. And you get all the like entitlements and affordances of what that gives you. And of course you can bridge in and out, but like, we want to bring people slowly into this space so that they can just see the stuff that they can do because it's so cool. And as a result, we're kind of like tipping both sides of that scale. And one important side of that scale is like it's the Epic Game Store, and having an Epic account ties to like the Shrapnel ecosystem in a way that's familiar for that set of people.
As I understand, it will be a game on Epic Store, and as I know, it will be a free to play, right?
It is free to play. Yep.
And you will play there, you will get some skins, and you will able to sell it. And that's the dream. I think that's the dream for real ownership in the game and entertainment, because you can play the game for free and you can own whatever you want. And
yeah,
I think that was the breaking point, because in, for example, CSGO, you cannot able to get out of these items and you cannot get it out from the ecosystem because you have to spend in there, and it makes it closed ecosystem, and it doesn't create a secondary market normally because you don't want to pay a lot in the game you cannot get back. But when you have ability to get back, it will be create more economy, and it will be really impressive in terms of volumes, I think. And your tokenomics for Shrapnel token, that SHAR token, seems very solid and detailedly explained. When can we buy the SHAR token, and do you have a whitelist for it, or what will be the next opportunity for the community, not for only the token, but in general?
Yeah, there's a very important beat coming up very soon, actually. So we're going to be doing SHRAP token airdrop to operators holders. So, we've got a series of NFTs that we've done almost entirely for community reasons, right? Operators is tied also to our transmedia storytelling. So we have a comic book series that we did and tried to really, we like a lot of us come from HBO or BioShock, right? We're used to building rich stories and worlds. So the comic book transmedia play was like, we're going to tell the story of these 5 different characters in the universe at the same time. And then we turned it into the Operator series, which was an NFT series, generative NFT series. That was the 5 characters. So we did like 5 mints, 5 weeks in a row, basically. So the people who got in on that, they're like our super early community, our operators holders. If they link their operator to their Shrapnel account. So right now you can go sign up for a Shrapnel account and link any of your non-custodial, as many non-custodial wallets as you want against your account. And then we'll be doing I don't think we've announced the date yet, but we're doing a snapshot and then just airdropping SHRAP token into to people on the Shrapnel platform. And with that, you'll be able to create a call sign. So this again will be in like NFT land, is a thing that you own and can trade. It's effectively gamer tag, your gamer tag. You can go create your gamer tag, and then that will end up in your inventory. You can pick which one you want to use at any given time, but that'll be kind of the first usage of the SHRAP token as it goes out to the community. And of course, we wanted it to be like our community that has it first, so that the machine starts working. You can kind of see how it's like what you can do with it, and that of course will lead up to a formal token launch afterwards.
Yeah, and you were in GDC, I think, and everybody was talking about your gameplay, and it was behind the doors. And as I heard, it will be happening in consensus again, and it will be open to everybody. Right?
Yep. Anybody who's in Austin can, and well, at consensus, can swing by and play the game.
Yeah, we are also media partner of them, and we, if it happens, we will be there. And also, what is the most exciting thing for you in the game, though? Because you are in the kitchen and you are cooking the game. And what is the most exciting thing will happen in this game for you? Can you Can you give some words for that
Yeah,
question?
so this isn't something that's in the we call it the show build. The build we have at GDC and Consensus is a very like distilled, truncated experience that you can do in 10 or 15 minutes, whereas the full session that like the rest of the team is working on is like a 45-minute session. But in the full version of the session, as you progress through the session, the value in the map keeps going up. Our creative director calls it seeded loot, where it's basically there's multiple extraction events that happen over the course of the session, and the longer you stay in, the riskier it gets. The number of people is smaller. The number of seats on the extraction event becomes smaller and smaller as well. So it's like everyone can't get out effectively. And then at the very end, there's effectively loot that you can only get if you stay in for the last drop ship, for the last extraction. So I think for me, like watching, you never know how that stuff's going to play out until you do play tests and you get the community to do it and you see more and more results of how people emotionally respond to it. And there's a very light version of that in the show experience. So we've seen the proof positive that the way people respond to it is exactly what we want. Like the excitement goes up, and then it's like parabolic when you get to the end. And then so over the course of the 45 session, that it's mostly internal here. I'm excited to see how people respond to that when we go like into flighting and more general availability of like the game, the formal game proper, and that people are matchmaking into versus the show floor experience. So I think of all the things going on, like seeing how people emotionally respond to that and then react to it and like the decisions they make and the risk reward trade-offs that they make, that's the most exciting part for me.
Yeah, I think that's the unique point of your game that will create amount of word of mouth for marketing, because people always talk about the last game, what they did, and talk about the friends, what happened in that game, and it will be really exciting for the gameplay, I think. And I have no more question from now on, but if you have something to say, our community, take the
Yeah, for
microphone.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, we've got a very lively Discord. If you haven't jumped in there, please do so. We try to keep it on the right side of positivity. We are active in our like culling of toxicity and making sure we don't have any bots. I think we're one of those teams who actually, it's like weekly we go through and actually remove like botting from both Discord and Twitter and everything, right? To keep it like we want less people more active. So it's definitely a healthy community. If you're interested in Shrapnel, jump in there. Of course, if you're going to be a Consensus, swing by, play the game, give it a swing, chat with the team. We'll have a decent contingent of our team there on site and in the booth and kind of wandering around the show. And then of course, like we're all affable humans. If you're interested in chatting, just reach out to us directly and have a chat. That's what we're here for. We're obviously very excited about what we're doing. So we love talking about it and answering the questions that we can at least. And then of course those big beats that are coming up very soon. We're doing the last pieces of the SCU Mint now. They're going to have early access to the early versions of our creator tools that allow you to kind of create your brand. We call it the insignia tool. So that allows people to like sticker sheet editing, and then you'll be able to mint that effectively, make your own NFTs, and those will become, you can then like apply those to skins, and that'll be the basis of a skin creator. And we're like evolving from kind of a accessible foundation to more complex art assets. So, SCU Mint people will have access to that. And then, of course, operators, holders, and our actual SHRAP token airdrop that's coming very soon. So, if you don't have an operator, see if you can go like snag one from somebody, steal it, but get one somehow, because that's going to be a big moment for a large portion of our community that's involved that way.
Yeah, thank you for joining our show, and that was amazing for me, and I am humbled to see you here. Yeah,
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.